If you listen closely to what Adonai your God says, observing and obeying all his mitzvot, which I am giving you today, Adonai your God will raise you high above all the nations of the earth, and all the following blessings will be yours in abundance. If you do what Adonai your God says, a blessing on you in the city, and a blessing on you in the countryside, a blessing on the fruit of your body, the fruit of your land, the fruit of your livestock, the young and your cattle and flocks, a blessing on your grain basket and kneading bowl, a blessing when you go out and a blessing when you come in. And I will cause your enemies attacking you to be defeated before you. They will advance on you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Adonai will order a blessing to be with you on your barns and in everything you undertake. He will bless you in the land of Adonai your God is giving you. Adonai will establish you as a people separated out for himself, as he has sworn to you, if you will observe the mitzvot of Adonai your God and follow his ways. Then all the people of the earth will see that Adonai's name, his presence, is with you, so that they will be afraid of you. Adonai will give you great abundance of good things, of the fruit of your body, the fruit of your livestock, the fruit of your land in the land Adonai swore to your ancestors to give you. Adonai will open for you his good treasure, the sky, to give your land its rain at the right seasons, and to bless everything you undertake. You will lend to many nations and not borrow. Adonai will make you the head and not the tail, and you will be only above, never below. If you listen to, observe, and obey the mitzvot of Adonai your God, and not turn away from any of the words which I am ordering you today, neither to the right or to the left, to follow after other gods and serve them. But if you refuse to pay attention to what Adonai your God says, and do not observe and obey all his mitzvot and regulations, which I am giving you today, then all of the following curses will be yours in abundance. A curse on you in the city, and a curse on you in the countryside. A curse on your grain basket and your kneading bowl. A curse on the fruit of your body, the fruit of your land, and the young and your cattle and flocks. A curse on you when you come in, and a curse on you when you go out. Adonai will send on you curses, disasters, frustration in everything you set out to do, until you are destroyed and quickly perish because of your evil actions in abandoning me. Adonai will bring on you a plague that will stay with you until he has exterminated you from the land you are entering in order to take possession of it. Adonai will strike you down with wasting diseases, fever, inflammation, fiery heat, drought, blasting winds, and mildew. They will pursue you until you perish. The sky over your head will be brass, and the earth under you iron. Adonai will turn the rain your land needs into powder and dust that will fall on you from the sky until you are destroyed. Adonai your God will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will advance on them 1 way and flee before them 7. You will become an object of horror to every kingdom on earth. Your carcasses will become food of all the birds of the air and the wild animals, and there will be no one to scare them away. Adonai will strike you down with the boils that broke out on the Egyptians, tumors, skin lesions, and itching, all incurable. Adonai will strike you with insanity, blindness, and utter confusion. You will grope about at noon like a blind person groping in the dark, unable to find your way. You will be continually oppressed and robbed. There will be no one to save you. You will not be engaged to a woman, but another man will marry her. You will build a house, but not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but not use its fruit. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes. You won't eat any of its meat. Your donkey will be taken away from you by force as you watch, and you won't get it back. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and there will be no one to help you. Your sons and daughters will be handed over to another people. You will watch them longingly all day, but not see them. There will be nothing you can do about it. A nation unknown to you will eat the fruit of your land and labor. Yes, you will continually be oppressed and crushed, till you go crazy from what your eyes have to see. Adonai will strike you down in the knees and legs with painful and incurable boils. They will spread you from sole of your foot to the crown of your head. Adonai will bring you and your king whom you have put over yourselves to a nation you have not known, neither you nor your ancestors. There you will serve other gods made of wood and stone. You will be so devastated as to become a proverb and a laughingstock among all the peoples to which Adonai will drive you. You will carry much seed out to the field, but gather little in, because locusts will devour it. You will plant vineyards and dress them, but neither drink the wine nor gather the grapes, because worms will eat them. You will have olive trees throughout your territory, but not anoint yourself with the oil, because your olives will fall off unripe. You will father sons and daughters, but they won't belong to you, because they will go into captivity. The bugs will inherit all the trees of the produce of your land. The foreigner living with you will rise higher and higher, while you sink lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, and you will be the tail. All these curses will come upon you, pursuing you and overtaking you until you are destroyed, because you didn't pay attention to what Adonai your God said, observing his mitzvot and regulations that he gave you. These curses will be on you and your descendants as a sign and a wonder forever, because you didn't serve Adonai your God with joy and gladness in your heart, when you had such abundance of everything. Adonai will send your enemy against you, and you will serve him when you are hungry, thirsty, poorly clothed, and lacking everything. He will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he destroys you. Yes, Adonai will bring you against the nation from far away, that will swoop down on you from the end of the earth like a vulture, a nation whose language you don't understand, a nation grim in appearance, whose people neither respect the old nor pity the young. They will devour the offspring of the livestock and the produce of your soil until you have been destroyed. They will leave you without grain, wine, olive oil, and your young cattle and sheep, until they have caused you to perish. They will besiege all your towns until your high fortified walls in which you trusted collapse everywhere in your land, which Adonai your God gave you. Then, because of the severity of the siege and distress that your enemies are inflicting on you, you will eat the offspring of your own body, the flesh of your own sons and daughters, whom Adonai your God has given you. Even the most gentle and sensitive man among you will be without pity for his brother, his beloved wife, or his surviving children, to the degree which he will refuse to share with any of them his flesh of his children whom he is eating, because if he did, he would have nothing left for himself. In the severity of the siege and distress your enemies are inflicting on you in all your towns, the most delicate and sensitive woman among you, so sensitive and delicate that she wouldn't think of touching the sole of her foot to the ground, will be begrudged her own beloved husband, son, and daughter. She will secretly eat the afterbirth that comes out of her and her own children, and she bears them. So desperately hungry will she be in severity of siege and distress of your enemies inflicting on you and your own towns. You will not observe and obey the words of this Torah that are written in this book, so that you will fear this glorious and awesome name, Adonai your God, when Adonai will strike down and your descendants with extraordinary plagues and severe sickness and go on and on. He will bring back upon you all the diseases the Egyptians had, which you were in dread of. They will cling to you. Not only that, but Adonai will bring upon you the sickness and plagues that are not written in the book of the Torah, until you are destroyed. You will be left few in number, whereas you were once numerous as the stars of the sky, because you did not pay attention to the voice of Adonai your God. Thus it will come about that just at once Adonai took joy in seeking to do good and increase your number. So now Adonai will take joy in causing you to perish and be destroyed. You will be plucked off the land you are entering in order to take possession of it. Adonai will scatter you among the people from one end of the earth to the other, and there you will serve other gods made of wood and stone, which neither you nor your ancestors have known. Among these nations you will not find repose, and there will be no rest for the sole of your foot. Rather, Adonai will give you the anguish of heart, dimness of eyes, and apathy of spirit. Your life will hang in doubt before you. You will be afraid of night and day, and have no assurance that you will stay alive. In the morning you will say, "Oh, how I wish it were evening." And in the evening you will say, "Oh, how I wish it were morning." Because of the fear overwhelming your heart and the sights of your eyes will see. Finally, Adonai will bring you back in ships to Egypt, the place of which I said to you, "You will never see it again." There you will try to sell yourselves as slaves to your enemies, but no one will buy you. These are the words of my covenant, which Adonai ordered Moshe to make with the people of Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Then Moshe summoned all Israel and said to them, "You saw everything Adonai did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, so all his servants, and to all his land, the great testing which you saw with your own eyes, and the signs of those great wonders. Nevertheless, to this day Adonai has not given you a heart to understand, eyes to see, or ears to hear. I led you 40 years in the desert. Neither the clothes on your body nor the shoes of your feet worn out. You didn't eat bread, and you didn't drink wine or other intoxicating liquor. This was so that you would know that I am Adonai your God. When you arrived at this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, advanced against us in battle, and we defeated him, took their land, and gave it as an inheritance to Reuveni, the Gadi, and the Nashi. Therefore, observe the words of this covenant and obey them, so that you can make everything you do prosper. Today you are standing, all of you, before Adonai your God, your heads, your tribes, your leaders, and your officers, all the men of Israel, along with the little ones, your wives, and the foreigners here with you in your camp, from the one who chops your wood to the one who draws your water. The purpose is that you should enter into the covenant of Adonai your God, into his oath, which Adonai your God is making with you today, so that he can establish you today for himself as a people, and so that for you he will be God, as he said to you, as he swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. I am not making this covenant and this oath only with you. Rather, I am making it both to him who is standing here with us today before Adonai your God, and also with him who is not here with us today. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we came directly through the nations you passed through. And you saw their detestable things and their idols of wood, stone, silver, and gold that they had with them. So let there not be among you a man, woman, family, or tribe whose heart turns away today from Adonai your God to go and serve other gods of those nations. Let there not be among you a root bearing which bitter person and wormwood. If there is such a person, when he hears the words of this curse, he will bless himself secretly, saying to himself, I will be all right, even though I stubbornly keep doing what I feel like doing, so that I, although dry, sinful, will be added to the watered righteous. But Adonai will not forgive him. Rather, the anger and jealousy of Adonai will blaze up against that person. Every curse written in this book will be upon him. Adonai will blot out his name from under heaven. Adonai will single him out from all the tribes of Israel to experience what is bad and all the curses of the covenant written in this book of the Torah. When the next generation, your children who grew up after you, and the foreigner who arrives from the distant land, see the plagues in the land and the diseases which Adonai has made it sick, and the whole land has become burning sulfur and salt that is being sown or bearing crops, or even producing grass, like the overthrow of Sodom and Amorah, Admah and Zvatayim, which Adonai overthrew in his furious anger. Then all the nations will ask, why did Adonai do this to this land? What is the meaning of such frenzied, furious anger? People will answer, it's because they abandoned the covenant of Adonai, the God of their fathers, which he made with them. when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. Then they went and served other gods, prostrating themselves before them, gods that they had not known, which they had not assigned them. For this reason the anger of Adonai blazed up against this land and brought upon it every curse written in this book. And Adonai, in anger, fury, and incensed with indignation, uprooted them from their land and threw them out unto another land, as it is today. Things which are hidden belong to Adonai our God, but the things which have been revealed belong to us and our children forever, so that we can observe all the words of this Torah. When the time arrived that all these things have come upon you, both the blessing and the curse which I have presented to you, and you are to be among the nations which Adonai your God has driven you, then at last you will start thinking about what has happened to you, and you will return to Adonai your God and pay attention to what he has said, which will be exactly what I am ordering you today, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your being. At that point, Adonai your God will reverse your exile and show mercy. He will return and gather you from all the peoples in which Adonai your God has scattered you. If one of yours was scattered to the far end of the sky, Adonai your God will gather you even from there. He will go there and get you. Adonai your God will bring you back to the land of your ancestors possessed, and you will possess it. He will make you prosper there, and you will become even more numerous than your ancestors. Then Adonai your God will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your children, so that when you love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your being, and thus you will live. Adonai your God will put all these curses on your enemies and those who hated and persecuted you, but you will return and pay attention to what Adonai says and obey all his mitzvot, which I am giving you today. Then Adonai your God will give more than enough in everything that you set out to do. The fruit of your body, the fruit of your livestock, the fruit of your land will all do well. For Adonai will once again rejoice to see you do well, just as he rejoiced in your ancestors. However, all this will happen only if you pay attention to what Adonai your God says, so that you obey his mitzvot and regulations, which are written in the book of the Torah. If you turn to Adonai your God with all your heart and all your being, for this mitzvah, which I am giving you today, is not too hard for you. It is not beyond your reach. It isn't the sky, so that you need to ask, who will go up to the sky for us? Bring it to us and make us hear it, so we can obey it. Likewise, it isn't beyond the sea, so that you need to ask, who will cross the sea for us? Bring it to us, make us hear it, so that we can obey it. On the contrary, the word is very close to you, in your mouth, even in your heart. Therefore, you can do it. Look, I am presenting you today with one of the hand life and good, and on the other hand death and evil. In that I am ordering you today to love Adonai your God, to follow his ways, to obey his mitzvot, regulations, rulings. For if you do, you will live and increase your number, and Adonai your God will bless you in the land you are entering in order to take possession of it. But if your heart turns away, if you refuse to listen, if you are drawn away to prostrate yourself before other gods and serve them, I am announcing to you today that you will certainly perish. You will not live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. I call on heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have presented you with life and death, and blessings and the curse. Therefore choose life, so that you will live, you and your descendants, loving Adonai your God, paying attention to what he says and clinging to him. And that is the purpose of your life. On this depends the length of your time, and you will live in the land of Adonai swore he would give to your ancestors Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov.